Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. So, episode 2 of Toilet Bound, Hanako-Kun. Hanako-Kun. I never thought I would be excited to watch a show whose title contained the word toilet. But I am. This show is absolutely beautiful. The animation is gorgeous. It's very different, the animation style, and I was trying to think of what it reminded me of, and parts of the animation I said in the first episode's reaction reminded me of Soul Eater, but it also reminds me of, there's an independent animated short, it's a pilot episode out right now for Has Been Hotel, and some of the blocking of the panels and like the way that the animation transitions reminds me of that opening in Has Been Hotel. And also the saturation of colors and just kind of like, it's so saturated it's almost gross. Reminds me a lot of Invader Zim for some odd reason. Not the animation style, but just that like saturation of color. It's just, there's so much reds and greens that it's beautiful, but also has kind of a creepy vibe. Hanako, the ghost, is probably my favorite so far. I love him as a protagonist. He's just fun and cute, but he's a ghost, so he's got this little creepy vibe to him, and I like it. Yashiro grew on me as the episode went on. At first I was like, oh no, she's this really naive shoujo-esque manic pixie dream girl, but she actually grows a little bit throughout the episode, and I liked that. So I'm excited to see how she continues to develop as the series goes on. I want to know what these other 6 wonders of the high school are. We don't get a lot of information as far as world building in the first episode. It's mainly just learning about Hanako, his powers, and Yashiro and kind of her motivations. And the 2 orbs, the green orb and the red orb, I noticed from the last episode, the first one, that the red orb is the one that gives Yashiro the seal with the mermaid scales. Almost like it was subconscious, like it wasn't Hanako doing it, it was its own, the little orb's own free will doing that. So I'm curious what those orbs do, why they're there, and how that goes into effect. And I don't know if we'll get those answers, especially this episode, but I'm curious to see. We've got our 2 main protagonists, we've got our setting, we have been explained a little bit about the world around us, but not too much, and so I'm excited to see where this goes. So without further ado, we're going to watch episode 2 of Hanako-Kun, Toilet Bound. I will give you guys forewarning, the only version I could find does not have an OP or an ED. I just noticed that the timing of the episode was kind of off. I'm like, why is this episode a little bit shorter? And then I kind of like just looked for that OP and it wasn't there. So if it's not there, that's why. But otherwise, I've not watched the episode. We're going to see what happens and go from there. So we're going to start the episode, guys, here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That was the end. 4th floor has stairs. So I think it cut it off. Oh my gosh. Oh, guys. So many questions. So many questions. Like I said, I didn't think the ED or the OP was on this episode. Hopefully it'll be back the next ones because I really like it. But I did not expect this episode to give so much backstory with also having us... gather my thoughts here. Okay, so I really like this episode a lot. Hanako just got 1,000 times more interesting because apparently he's killed someone. So there's that. That's why he has the kitchen knife, which is interesting. He has supposedly made a contract with God saying that I will protect this school and the people in it if you'll absolve me from my sins. So I really want to know Hanako's backstory right now and why he died, who he killed, what was the circumstance. I'm really interested in that. Minamoto, I'll need to go back and look at the first episode to see if this Minamoto is the same one that that Yashiro had a crush on. I don't think that it is, because he would have remembered her from coming up and trying to confess to him. I think it's a different Minamoto, but I need to go back and look. When we do episode 3, I'll have checked by then to see if it's the same guy or if they're different, if they're just related. But yeah, I love his character. He's an exorcist in training. I like that he has all the gadgets and the cool things, and obviously he's not strong enough to use them yet. I'm curious why Hanako says he hopes he gets strong enough to use them. Like, is he eventually wanting to get exorcised. I'm assuming he does, because then he can move on to the afterlife. Also, Hanako is really, really pushy in how much he likes Yashiro. And obviously he hasn't had a friend in a long time, so I think that he likes the idea of having her as his friend. But he's really pushing it, like, he flirts with her a lot in this show. And she just either, it goes over her head, or she doesn't think it's flirting, she thinks it's something else. But dude has a crush on Yashiro, which is problematic because she's alive and he's dead. Very problematic. Minamoto is a cool character. I love his design. I like his attitude. Obviously, he's going to be probably that for comedic effect, trying to kill Hanako over and over again and exorcise him. Not kill, exorcise him. The purple-haired girl is suspicious to me because we established the fact that ghosts have to adhere to the rumors spread about them. So whatever the story is, that's how they have to function, which is really interesting. I like that bit of world building here, that whatever the story becomes, the ghosts have to kind of mold it or they will cease to exist. It's almost like their identity is, since they don't have their soul is just there, their identity and agency comes from the stories people tell about them. So I really like that aspect of it. I'm wondering, that makes me think though, like, because Minamoto drops a lot of exposition bombs when he talks to Hanako and Yashiro. He's like, my grandma sealed you away. Was his grandma in high school when that happened? Was she an exorcist? Did she like Hanako? What was the circumstance? What happened? Is it known that he's been around all this time and so different Minamotos have tried to get rid of him and they haven't been successful? I don't know. The purple-haired girl also makes me suspicious because I'm thinking she's been spreading a lot of stories about Yousei around that weren't true, and she's kind of the only one telling that story. I'm wondering, is she the one that told Yashiro about Hanako to begin with? Minamoto can obviously touch spirits and interact with them because he's an exorcist, or he's descended from exorcists, so that's probably his connection. Does this purple-haired girl, is her name Yoi maybe, does she have a connection with a ghost? Is she kind of like Yashiro and working with a ghost too? So many questions, but again, the animation on this, I am continuously impressed by the animation. The voice acting for Hanako is so good. Like, he has this perfect cadence of being quiet and kind of like cutesy, but it's creepy at the same time. And then when he's serious, he's sincere. Like, his voice actor is amazing. I'm really glad I'm watching the sub because his voice actor is just so good. Minamoto seems like maybe he has a crush on Yashiro too, so it's like a love triangle. I don't know at this point who to root for, because on one hand I'm like, well, Team Hanako, but then on the other hand I'm like, he's a ghost, and he's also kind of questionable, and we don't know that much about him like we thought we did. So I'm curious about, and he seems like he's kind of wanting to keep Yashiro from knowing certain things, which is concerning to me. Like, what does he not want her to know? So yeah, I'm so intrigued by this show. I didn't know what episode 2 was going to be like, and I'm just really intrigued. I want to know what happens next, how the episode goes. We've got new characters established. We've got at least 2 new major ones that are introduced, the purple-haired girl and Minamoto. There wasn't really any big demon or apparition in this episode other than the Yousei, which were adorable other than them. But, guys, I am so excited. I cannot believe that I am actively excited for a show called Toilet Bound. But I am. I really like this show so far, and we're only 2 episodes in. So, guys, I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. I'm sorry the OP and ED weren't in it, but I like that our previews are giving us like a little hint at what's to come next episode. Next episode, we're talking about stairs, falling down some stairs. I hope that we get more backstory on Hanako-Kun and kind of his circumstance. I feel like we will by the end of the season, but I'm curious now. My interest is piqued. And I like that Yashiro she's growing on me as a character. She's developing as well, even though she still has a little bit of the shoujo, like, oh, I want my Prince Charming to come by, and then Minamoto just happens to show up. But yeah, guys, I'm going to stop rambling, and thank you guys so much for watching the reaction. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode too. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. But otherwise, I will see you guys again very soon when we watch episode 3 of Toilet Bound Hanako-Kun. So stay safe, guys, and take care. I'll see you all again soon.